Hi friends, in our time together today, I want us to talk about holding the whistle so that it doesn't slip. We've referenced this a little bit, but some of you and I have had further conversations about this, and it's a bit of a concern because, as I talked about with our grip, the way you hold the whistle could cause your hands to cramp, could cause a lot of problems with how quickly your fingers can move. So it's recommended when you play your whistle that you kind of play it either close to your body or out a little. There's really a lot of opinion about this, from which makes the saliva drip more, which restricts your airway. And for me, this is very personal. I've experimented. I can play with my whistle straight out, although after a while my arms are going to get tired. I'm not a huge fan of playing with it straight up against my body, but I can do it. So I like something relaxed in there. And to be honest, when I'm playing my whistle, I move it around sometimes. Again, your key concern, as it is said, is that you don't obstruct the airway. Like if I move the whistle around while I'm playing, it's possible that my lip gets in the way. My upper lips, as I'm rolling my whistle, my upper lips are bent in the way, because you don't want to stick the whistle too far in your mouth. You might need to experiment with how the whistle sits between your lips. Never push it back to your teeth. And I've heard some people say, well, someone told me to hold the whistle with my mouth. Don't. That's not what your mouth is for. Your mouth is to create a seal around the mouthpiece and to blow gently into the whistle. Or as hard as your whistle will permit without breaking into harmonics. So how do you hold your whistle to play it? Holding your whistle actually marries with your grip. Remember I talked in the grip about some people say put the fingertip pad of your ring finger here and then cover the holes, rotate up. The problem is for me, if I do that, my little finger can't get near the whistle because, well, my fingers aren't all that big. And that's another one of the reasons I moved my grip inward, because then I have both my thumbs on the back of the whistle, but that, playing a C sharp, that doesn't stabilize the whistle. So if I move in to a full piper's grip, I can place my little finger like 3/4 or on top of the whistle. If you are able to place your little finger only at the side, that really does nothing, because your thumbs are behind and putting your finger at the side is not an opposing force to stabilize it. So you need your thumbs behind the whistle. Notice how my little finger is. It's slightly on top. And so that for me is key. And that is another driver for me on why I chose this grip, the more traditional piper's grip, because it let my little finger, come into play to stabilize my whistle. Now, another thing some people say is when you're getting up and when you're playing and you're getting up into the area where the whistle might slip, like the C sharp or the B, see, I could play the C sharp. My thumbs are stabilizing the back of the whistle. It's resting against my lips, but I need a third point out here that stabilizes my whistle, and that's what my little finger's doing. Again, that's why another driver as to why I chose this grip. Like I said, if my little finger was off to the side, that does nothing. And I'm not even going to demonstrate that because I dropped my whistle. So if you need to alter your grip to stabilize your whistle like I did, go ahead. Now, some people say that you could go ahead and if you're playing like a C sharp, go ahead and cover like one of the bottom holes. And that helps stabilize it. But I personally don't want to get into remembering what fingering I need to do to stabilize my whistle. I want to use fingering to play. So for me, thumbs behind, my grip modified so that my little finger of my bottom hand can rest kind of on top of the whistle, or at least 3/4 to stabilize it. Here are a couple other things. You could get a thumb rest. This is the first whistle I ever owned. It's a Susato C, and to be honest, I am embarrassed to say I never played it. Susato makes a thumb rest, and they make these to fit on their whistles. You just snap it on and off. And so I could put that there right to the point where my thumb would rest against it, and I can play that way. And you may need to adjust it so that your thumb sits there, and that helps stabilize. But notice I'm still using my little finger. That is my habit to do that, to stabilize my whistle. You could get a thumb rest. The folks at Susato make a wide variety of thumb rests, and you could buy it from them, or you can pick that up at, let me see where I've got that note here, the Whistle Shop. I'll put their website link in the notes to this video. The Whistle Shop permits you to go on and say the diameter of my whistle is this, and then they'll sell you a Susato thumb rest that works. Another thing that some people do is they will get like a little silicone sticky thing to just stick on the back of their whistle, and that sometimes helps stabilize. I even know some people have put some tape and a little string so that they can hook their thumb on the string and just tape it to their whistle. Find something that works for you. You can look up thumb rests. If you have one of the MK whistles, they make thumb rests for their whistles that are really pretty neat, and you could order them from the MK website. And so you could order them. You could look at other sites, Etsy, Pinterest, Amazon. You can find a number of thumb rests to experiment with. I went shopping to DIY stores and some craft shops to see if I could find something, and I didn't find anything exciting. And I have heard that some people even use like a guitar pick holder, but it's hard to find a single pick holder, and they're a little bigger than I want. You know, the things that fit on a microphone stand that would be about the diameter of your whistle. So that's another option. You could try lots of stuff. Feel free to get creative. Don't feel like you've got to solve this by cramping your hands. You create or buy a thumb rest if you need to. Change your grip if you need to. And if you have other thoughts on this or other things you try, please, please, please let me know. Stick a note in the comments to this video so that everybody else can read them. So I hope that's helpful, friends. As you're holding your whistle, make sure that you're stabilized at the back. And even in showing you, notice I put my little finger there. And so instead of saying start with your ring finger, the pad, I say start with your little finger stabilizing and then see where your fingers lay. So holding the whistle and the grip are very connected. Thank you for this conversation. Thanks for those that prompted me to look into this a little more and haven't. And so I hope that helps you. Please comment and let me know what you're doing. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.